As nightly rage engulfs the streets of Brazil's biggest cities, the country's government is searching for answers. Brazil's president has called an emergency cabinet meeting for this Friday. It comes after an estimated 800,000 protesters took to the streets of Brazil's major cities Thursday night. The demonstrators are rallying against high taxes and what they say are poor government services. Authorities have been responding with tear gas. In Sao Paulo, one protester was killed Thursday when he was run over by an SUV. Well, originally, the protests were about higher transit fares. The demonstrators won that battle with both Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro rolling back bus and metro ticket prices. But now many Brazilians seem galvanized. Is this a new age of protests? Let's bring in Fernando Jones, a protester who was at Thursday night's demonstration in Rio. He joins us live via Skype. Fernando, thank you very much for being with us. So what are the protests about today? I think I heard someone say right now, what aren't Brazilians protesting about?
Yeah, I guess that would be true. Right now, protests are going on, and mainly it's because about corruption and overspending and the lack of services, or really bad services around.
Here on the show, Fernando Jones there joining us via Skype. Well, some of the other stories that we are following for you here at CNN News Center. Spain says it's broken up a group that trained combatants to fight in Syria. Madrid says Friday's raid just south of Gibraltar smashed a terrorist group with links to Al-Qaeda. 8 suspects were arrested. It took place in a Spanish enclave in North Africa. Madrid says rebels trained there were being sent to fight in Syria. In Pakistan, at least 14 people were killed and another 25 injured by a suicide bombing at a Shiite mosque in Peshawar. The attack happened during Friday prayers. Police say the bomber shot and killed a guard at the entrance before blowing himself up inside the mosque. Israeli police are investigating a shooting at the Western Wall in Jerusalem. Police say a security guard fired on a Jewish man who was acting suspiciously and shouting, "God is great," in Arabic. The man died at the scene. At least 150 people have died and tens of thousands have been left stranded as floods sweep through northern India. There's been a scramble to save those trapped by the floods, which has been described by one official as a Himalayan tsunami. Some areas are still underwater and officials are struggling to gauge the scale of the disaster. Malika Kapoor shows us the rescue underway.
Exhausted but relieved. Car after car brought survivors of the devastating floods in India's Himalayas down to dry, flat land.
Singapore has recorded its highest ever air pollution level. The Singapore government blames the smoke on fires set to clear land for palm plantations in nearby Sumatra, Indonesia. They also say the haze could last for weeks. It's also affecting nearby Malaysia. We'll have more on India and Singapore and the rest of the weather with Tom Sater coming up in the show in just a few minutes. Doctors in Rome have conducted an autopsy on actor James Gandolfini, and they have confirmed to CNN that the actor died of a heart attack. The Sopranos star died while on holiday in Italy. He was just 51. You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. I'm Monita Rajpal. Supporters of Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi are expected to rally on Friday in Cairo. The Muslim Brotherhood and other groups backing Mr. Morsi want to show they are a force to be reckoned with. Anti-Morsi demonstrations are planned for June 30th, and that is the first anniversary of Mr. Morsi's inauguration. Ian Lee joins us now live from the Egyptian capital, Cairo, with more on these pro-Morsi protests. Ian?
Monita, today's rally theme is no violence, and this comes...
All right, Ian, thank you very much for that. Ian Lee in Cairo. We do apologize for that sound disturbance there, as we heard. Now, as many as 100,000 people could be affected by mandatory evacuations issued in Calgary in Canada. Seems to be the theme around the world right now. Let's take you straight to our meteorologist, Tom Sater, at the World Weather Center with more on what's going on. Tom?
It's been crazy the last 7 days, Monita. I mean, flooding right now in Canada, as mentioned there in the pictures. India seen flooding. New Zealand, one of the biggest storms they've had in a decade, moved through that area. Flooding in Mexico to a tropical storm. Flooding in parts of Japan to a tropical system. But
indeed. All right, Tom, thank you very much. Sure. Researchers in China are working to protect an animal even rarer than the giant panda, the finless porpoise. is a freshwater species found in the Yangtze River. The World Wildlife Fund says if proper measures aren't taken, they could be extinct in 10 years. David McKenzie has more as part of our special Age of China coverage.
Coming up, for a quick hello.
They are adorable creatures. You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. The CNN film Girl Rising is a personal look at the struggles of 7 girls around the world who are trying to get an education. Academy Award nominee Richard Robbins directed the sweeping documentary. It airs on CNN this coming weekend. Frederica Whitfield brings us a preview. Professional basketball in the U.S. has a top team for the 2013 season, and the Miami Heat beat the San Antonio Spurs, taking the title in a thrilling season finale on Thursday, or final, I should say, Thursday. Rachel Nichols has been following the story from Miami. She joins us now live. Rachel, I guess a lot of people are saying all hail King James.
Absolutely, and I don't know how much you know about this town, but there's a lot of people who really haven't gone to bed yet after last night. Of course, they're celebrating the win.
Sports is all about, when you hear things like that, certainly it is very, very inspiring. Rachel, thank you very much for joining us here on the show. Rachel Nichols there in... I'll update you the news headlines in just a couple of minutes.